Hey everyone, how's it going? I just decided to, instead of doing a monthly book haul-ish for like the whole summer season, I just decided to just put that all into one big gigantic video because why not? So if you clicked on this video, you want to know all the books I've accumulated like over the summer. These books I've accumulated since I believe May until the end of July, so roughly around 4 months-ish. No, that's a lie. That's around 3 months because I don't plan on getting any books in August. I have around 30 to 40 books I want to show you guys. Most of them come from BEA books to books I found that were released a while back at a used bookstore, and some are new releases. I also want to mention that this video is also being sponsored in part of a paid promotion by Disney Book Group for the release of #murdertrending by Gretchen McNeil. It's basically like The Purge meets The Hunger Games. I've actually heard about this a while back, and it's been on my radar for some time now, and thank you for Disney for sending me a copy of this book. This book is about a girl named Dee who is sent to this place called Alcatraz 2.0. Basically a place where the most dangerous criminals are placed, and in this place, literally, the whole place is on camera, so people kill each other in this little place, and it's streamed worldwide for everyone to view. Kind of like the Hunger Games-ish in a way. So this girl is being placed here for a crime she didn't commit. We shall see why she is being placed there and how will she survive, because she's just an ordinary girl placed among these assassins and murderers and everything. And so she forms this little posse called the Death Row Breakfast Club, and together they must learn how to fight and survive in this dangerous place. If you guys want to get your hands on #murdertrending, this book does come out on August 7th. So first we are going to go into the big BEA book haul. So for this year at BEA New York, I was actually really strict on myself, really restraining myself from getting too many books at BEA, but I think I got 7 to 10, which is pretty decent sized. I was aiming for 5, and that's it, but you know how BEA goes. So the first book I want to show you guys is WildCard by Marie Lu, which is a sequel to Warcross. I actually read Warcross and I really enjoyed it. This is the sequel and it comes out in September, so not too far away. The next book that I got is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This one was really anticipated. Everyone wanted one. So I'm really excited to see how this one is, just because this is a middle grade novel. It sounds really creepy and just really atmospheric. I haven't heard too much about it because it doesn't come out until August. Oh wait, whoa. It's coming out actually pretty soon. The next book that I got, I actually didn't even stand in line for. Somebody didn't want this and I ended up getting it. It's Never Contented Things, A Novel of Fairy by Sarah Porter. This one does not have a cover. This is one of the arcs that doesn't have a cover on it at all. It's just white with the title that says Advanced Uncorrected Proof, which is really cool in a way. And all I know is that this book is about a group of fairies. This one doesn't come out until March of 2019, so a long ways. The next book that I managed to grab is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This one comes out in September, and I really like this arc because I feel like it feels like an actual book, not like an arc. You know how arcs are really flimsy sometimes and they feel a little cheap? This one feels like a real paperback. It's about this woman who is dying 7 times, and her husband or boyfriend or something like that is trying to figure out why she's dying so many times. I got confused with this book with another book because they almost have the same title. It was The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hugo. The next arc I managed to pick up, and I was number 175 of 250, is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Cusack. The Book Thief was one of the first historical fiction books I've read back when I was a lot younger, and I don't think I've ever read another Marcus Cusack book, and so I'm really keen on picking up, to see and going back to his writing style and everything. So all I know that this is historical fiction, that's pretty much it. The next arc I managed to pick up is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. This one is based off a Slender Man mythology. Well, that's what I've heard anyways. It's about these 3 girls, all friends, and one of them is killed, and 2 of them are supposedly responsible for their friend's death. However, they actually didn't kill her, so this is a story of what actually happened. Sounds interesting, very mysterious and foreboding, but we shall see. This one comes out in October, so perfect for Halloween. Last but not least is pretty much the biggest arc I have ever gotten or seen in my entire life, and it's Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, the author of The Bone Season. This is a huge epic fantasy book that doesn't come out until March of 2019, and this book is huge. I mean, you can literally kill someone with this, not gonna lie. Now we are finished with the arcs at BEA. I want to show you guys some of the books I got. My first purchases from Kinokuniya. Kinokuniya. I don't know how to say it. How do you pronounce it? Kinokuniya. But the first book that I got from there is Erased by Ki Sunbei. This is the first volume in the series, and I already watched the anime for this, and it is so beautiful and breathtaking. I recommend it to anyone who wants to get into anime to watch Erased. This is the manga edition, and I got this beautiful hardcover, and it's one of my favorites of all time, so I'm really excited to see how it really differs from the anime. Everyone should read this and watch it just because it's about a boy who goes back in time from his adult self to his childhood self, but he still retains all his like memories and everything as an adult to save a classmate of his that was actually murdered. And so he is going to try to prevent his classmate from being murdered, and it's just so beautiful. And everyone should, like, if you're interested into anime or anything like that, or if you're new, I really highly recommend it. It's just so beautiful. The next two mangas that I also picked up, volumes 1 and 2, is Orange, Story and Arts by Ichigo Takano. This series is about a high school girl who receives letters from her future self. So we have a lot of, alternating timelines here. Saying that she needs to befriend and protect this one student who will come into her life. I believe that in the second volume or something like that, they're a little bit older, and her friends reveal that they also have been receiving letters from their future selves dictating what will happen and everything, and different paths that they should take. I haven't read a lot of manga, but I've heard this one was also really, really cool as well. So I'm really excited to see where this one goes. Okay, so we are going to go into the only arc that was sent to me by Berkeley Books, and it is The Boy at the Door by Alex Dahl. So this book takes place in a cold, small Norwegian town, and it's basically about a mother who picks up a boy at the school and brings him home only to find that his mother and nobody in his family is there. Her perfect life starts to unravel at this, and things starts to happen. Other than that, I don't know what else is happening, but this book does come out in November, and it's a mystery thriller. So again, I'm all about those mystery thrillers. The next book that I got, and everyone really likes it so far, is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. Thank you to Quirk Books for sending me a copy. This is like this paperback edition. It's a little different from the hardcover edition, and I'm pretty sure y'all know what Geekerella is about because everyone and their mother has read this book. But it has good ratings and reviews, so I will hopefully pick it up in the near future. All right, next is a set of series I actually picked up and bought just because I was completely enamored with the book that after I finished I read. It was Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, and I bought her whole other series. What is it? Coptown? No, this isn't Coptown. Ugh. I honestly forgot what this whole series is called. Fake fan. It basically follows this town and a group of people trying to solve like these grisly, nasty murders that takes place. So I bought all of them, and they're so beautiful, even though it really irks me that they're all freaking different sizes. Literally all the books here are all different sizes. Yeah, there are like around 6 or 5 of them, and I can't wait to get into them. The next book that I picked up is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and this one, I've heard a lot of things, really great things about it on Twitter and Goodreads as well. And before that, I actually picked this one up just because it was super cheap at Barnes & Noble with a discount. I heard this one is also like a historical, like fiction type of book with elements of fantasy in there. I'm not too sure about that, but I heard this is fantastic and badass, and I'm getting like Nevernights vibes and feels from this by J.R. Kristoff, which is really insane and action-packed as well. So I heard that this is also very brutal, a lot of trigger warnings in here as well. But I'm really excited to get into this, and I think this one might be my next read. The next book I picked up is a sequel to Caravel, and it's Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I actually didn't like Caravel as much. I thought it was really overhyped, and there are certain elements I thought were just not well done. Like the whole abstract, vague writing. It was just not really my style, but the story was it was interesting enough for me to pick up the sequel, so we shall see how this one goes. I think this is only a duology in itself. I mean, that's not saying much, but we shall see. The next book I picked up is Monstrous, Volume 1 by Majori Liu and Sana Takeda. Don't know too much about this. I looked at the artwork, and it looks beautiful, and it just looks really interesting. Other than that, I don't know what it's about, but I heard pretty great things about it from other people who've read it. So, next book I picked this up at the Amazon bookstore, is The Outsider by Stephen King. This book is huge, and it's like a psychological mystery thriller about a town that's been shaken up by these murders. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get into it, even though it looks really hefty and long, but, I haven't heard too much about this at all, so let me know down in the comments below if you guys have read this book. So the next book I picked up is Save the Date by Morgan Matson. I picked this one up because it's Morgan Matson. That's pretty much it. I absolutely loved Since You've Been Gone, and I absolutely cannot wait to read this one because I heard this one gives you all the feels and it's fuzzy, even though I don't like read contemporary that much anymore, but you know, it's Morgan Matson, so. The next book I picked up is a middle grade book, and I found it. Did I find this at a used bookstore? I did find this at a used bookstore in LA, and this is Seraphina and the Twisted Staff by Robert Beatty. I've always wanted to read like this whole series overall. I've heard amazing things about it, so I saw this at a used bookstore and I just decided to pick it up. Okay, so the next book I picked up, also from that same used bookstore in LA, is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've heard so many damn freaking good things about this book. I'm kind of scared going into it just because, again, most of the books that people have like hyped for me have just been flat out disappointments, and I want to go into this mindset where I hear a couple good things. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll look into it and I'll read it. If it gets so much attention and I end up reading it, and most of the time, for whatever reason, it just does not pique my interest, and I'm like the minority in the situation where I didn't like the book. But hopefully that's not the case when it comes to this one, because everyone, like literally everybody who has read this book, who I know, loved this book. So we shall see. It's literally about a woman who tells her story and her 7 husbands. So yeah, not to be confused with The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I hauled earlier, but this is the Book of the Month edition, and I don't really care. I mean, I found this for cheap at a used bookstore in great condition, so really excited to start and see, you know, what this whole hype train is all about. So it's really funny. I picked this next book up, these next couple set of books up at a thrift store. This thrift store doesn't really like, you know, garner towards books. It's mostly like clothes, appliances, and everything like that. And they have the biggest books section in this thrift store. It's like a chain of thrift stores. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's called Savers. It's really prominent here in California. Well, Northern California anyway. I checked it out and I saw that they had a pretty good selection. So I picked up Don't Let Go by Harlan Coben, which is a thriller. So this one is about a mystery that revolves around a group of people. A brother and his girlfriend, who are both dead, and he's trying to figure out, you know, what happened and why his girlfriend's prints were at the scene of a crime. So this sounds interesting, and I got this for super cheap. The other 2 books I picked up is Coptown by Karen Slaughter. This is just like another starting book in her other series, so I'm really happy I got to pick this one up. And also Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. I heard fantastic things about this book. I was planning on picking it up, but I'm just happy that I picked it up then and there, because I got this book for, I don't even know how much, like $3 or something like that. Is a steal. So we have a couple of mystery thrillers that I have read already, and I will talk more in depth more in a recent reads video. But the first one is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. So this one is about a girl who receives a letter containing the information, the fact that she is invited to this mansion to partake in a will reading by the lady who passed away here. And she's like, what the heck? First of all, my mom and grandmother are dead, so why do I have this relationship with this whole fiasco? So curiosity gets the better of her, and so she decides to go over there and decide why. But once she gets there, things start to happen and her life might be in danger. What I really liked about this book is how it incorporated like the reading of tarot cards in here, which was really cool. But I would highly recommend it if you guys are looking for a solid like mystery thriller. It was pretty good, very atmospheric. Again, more in depth in another video. The next mystery thriller is All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars, but this one is about a guy who comes back from his college town after the death of his father, and he meets up with his stepmother and gets involved along with another girl who seems to have mysteries of her own. So we have some interesting aspects here, but again, I'll go more in depth into that. Was not my favorite Peter Swanson book. If you guys didn't know, I loved his other 2 books, but this one just fell really flat for me. Disappointing. Alright, the last psychological thriller is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. Freaking 5 out of 5 stars. This book did not disappoint. This book is about a woman who goes back to a camp that had a really unfortunate incident back in the day when she was a kid. She was a kid, her campmates, her bunkmates, whatever, they all disappeared without a trace. And so she tries to go back to this camp to find out, you know, what actually really happened to them. But someone or something doesn't want her finding out or meddling in the past. So this one was really creepy. Gave me like Friday the 13th vibes, like camp vibes. So it was really fun. Highly recommend. The next book I picked up is A Reaper of the Gates by Sabah Tahir. If y'all didn't know, I absolutely love A Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night, and I am really excited to pick this one up. I've heard really little things about this, even though those little things were really positive. I think her books overall are like underrated, even though they're like hyped in a way, but I don't hear a lot of people like talking about it, if you know what I mean. I've heard a lot of buzz with the first book, but after the second one and the third, didn't really hear too much about it. I think it's because the releases were so far apart, like 2 years or something like that. So if you guys have read this, please let me know what you thought. No spoilers. You will be deleted, and I cannot wait to dive into the third book. Last and not freaking least is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I actually have already finished reading this book, and I absolutely loved it. It was a very solid debut I was about to say thriller. It was actually a really solid debut fantasy book, and I really, really enjoyed reading this book. It was just really unique and full of promise. I'm really excited to see which direction this book will go in. But more thoughts on this in another video. Oh yeah, did I tell you what this book is about? No? It's about these two girls, centuries apart, different timelines. One is destined to become a blood queen, and one is destined to become the sun queen. One is bringing death and destruction, one is bringing light and love into this new world. And which queen will it be? I don't know, you have to find out. Read it. So that's what this book is about. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for Disney Book Group for sending me #murdertrending. If you guys want to check more on that out, I'll leave links to that down below. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books or what books you guys are excited for upcoming August. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys all soon with a new video. Goodbye.